So the biggest myth that I want to bust is pushing yourself harder in the gym. I have genuinely lost more weight and felt healthy within myself when I've stopped going to the gym for periods of my menstrual cycle. Why? Because of the fluctuations of my hormones, and those hormones that actually give my body some energy, that help me with recovery, that help me with PBs, are just not there during certain times of the month. So when I don't train and push myself as hard during those times, don't give in. Don't give in to the latest fad, which is all about Mounjaro and taking Ozempic. If you've been dieting, cutting out foods, training, and doing everything right, but still can't shift the stubborn back fat, this tire around your belly, it might not be your diet. So before you grab the Ozempic and go for the Mounjaro, look at your cortisol. Hi, I'm Nika. I am the founder of the Female Rider Code, and I help equestrian women all over the world improve their health, both in and out of the saddle. I see this time and time again, women cutting foods, trying to count calories only to give up at the weekend, thinking, why, despite the exercise, despite the effort, is the stubborn belly fat just not shifting? Today, I'm going to explain the cortisol connection and exactly how to calm your system so that stubborn belly and back fat can finally shift. So what is this cortisol belly? I see this time and time again, especially with women over the age of 30. Some of us have had kids, some of us have had increase in responsibilities, things, life, perspective changes. And with this responsibility, with this added pressure comes stress. The biggest thing we are not taught ever is how to manage stress, how to let go, how to productively move on, not just telling yourself, lying to yourself, when deep down you're secretly hating yourself. This is not how to manage stress. When we don't know how to manage our stress, what happens to our body, which never lies, by the way, our cortisol increases, and that cortisol is stored as fat. It's actually a very clever way by the body to help that fat not get stored around vital organs like your heart, your lungs. So the body does an amazing thing and actually stores the fat in areas away from these vital organs. So in a way, as much as we hate and dislike that bra fat and that stubborn tire around our belly, it's actually your body doing you a favor. So why does dieting and increased exercise not shift the stubborn belly fat? I get asked this time and time again, and it's often the stories I'm told to why people end up going down the whole Mounjaro and the whole Ozempic route, because they're sick and tired of having to push themselves harder and harder in the gym for eating no food. Somewhere in this society, we have believed these myths about pushing ourselves harder and harder, no pain, no gain. I was brought up like that. I was brought up by my wonderful mother on different diets. One of them included a cling film diet where she was wrapping her belly up in cling film. I don't know. I've also heard of things like the apple diet, the carnivore diet, all of these fads that are fundamentally maybe beneficial in a very short term for a few weeks, but sustainably long last for people who travel like myself, for people who want to slow down aging. Doing these extreme diets actually does the complete opposite. And this is why you have more cortisol, why you have more stress. These short-term diets, because they're not sustainable, cause more stress in your body. They raise your cortisol, and this is why you have the stubborn layer of belly fat or back fat. So, come on, Nika. So what's the fix, right? If we're not going to increase the exercise and cut out the food, what is the fix to removing stubborn belly fat? I look at this in 3 ways: nutrition, movement, and brain gym. From a nutrition perspective, this so very much depends on your hormonal age, your activity, what your goal actually is. Hormonal age is a massive factor for me because I will not prescribe the same dietary requirements, and by that I just mean nutrition, for someone who has a menstrual cycle to someone who's in perimenopause or to someone who's in postmenopausal years. They all have different degrees of hormonal changes, spiking and fluctuating at different times of the month. So providing the nutrition for the for those 3 categories of women, there are so many more, but as an example, would actually do detriment. And this is why, if you're someone who's saving a lot of these recipe ideas and quick fixes on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever it is, this is only adding noise and confusion to your body because it is not personalized to you. Once you have a clear understanding of where you are on the hormonal age, and if you're thinking, Nika, how do I do that? A simple practical tool is just to start monitoring your symptoms, especially if you're in that perimenopausal phase and you're like, my cycles aren't consistent, they're not on a routine, but I do notice that I might be a bit moody some days. And other weeks I might have this abundance of energy, and other days I'm just exhausted. Just genuinely start noting down how you're feeling on a daily basis. I promise you, after about 3 months, you'll have so much data and you can put these into ChatGPT and you can straight away find fluctuations and patterns within your moods that will then, if you're working with a coach, like someone like myself, can help you with specific food groups in your busy lifestyle that will help manage your symptoms. And this is the key thing, is understanding where you personally are today. That's the nutrition side of things. From a movement side of things, women over the age of 30 have significant more changes in their hormones compared to women who still have a regular menstrual cycle and are in their teens and 20s. Guess what happens? My body manages to maintain a better balance of homeostasis, and as I've just said, cortisol is lowered or it is managed, which means I don't store fat. I went through a period, and again, I've worked with clients one-to-one doing this, where they go into the gym 4 or 5 days a week. They're doing running, thinking, why I can't do any more exercise and the stubborn belly fat won't go. When we've removed those high stress, high cortisol triggering activities, they've lost weight. Their bellies are becoming so much toned, so much tighter. And this is even after having children, by the way. And they're like, why is this happening? It's because we are managing and reducing stress on the body. Another big factor when it comes to your cortisol and your stress is sleep. If you're not having enough sleep on a daily basis, you are 30% more likely to gain weight because you've increased in cortisol. This is what science is saying. And the third thing, so it's nutrition, movement, and brain gym. Brain gym for me is all about your nervous system. Your nervous system, my nervous system, our animal's nervous system on a daily basis is responding to the external stresses and what that effect is having on our internal triggers as well. When we recognize this and think, do you know what, I feel a bit anxious today, and instead of numbing ourselves, eating more food, pushing ourselves in the gym, we take a step back. And side note, I can teach you all of this, not only in my free school group called the Female Rider Code, but I also have a limited amount of spots every 6 months where I can coach you one-to-one with a personalized plan. If you're interested in this, drop a comment below or visit the Female Rider Code and connect with me in there. When you know how to regulate your nervous system through simple practices, this can have a genuine positive effect on your cortisol levels, which means you can actually lose fat quicker. Most people don't teach you this. They just teach you calories and exercise. And this is why I'm on a massive mission to help as many equestrian women as I can, because I truly believe that when we are moving, feeling, and being better people within ourselves, our horses can be better as well. And that brings me personally a lot of joy. Let's wrap this up. When you lower your cortisol, you change your body's fat storing signals, and the stubborn belly and back fat finally becomes movable. It shifts. If you haven't already, give me a like and follow, and remember to subscribe.